Welcome to our podcast. This is called Backward Point, and I am your co-host Bashar, and with me is my brother and co-host.
Nazar Sayed.
Um, if this is your first time tuning in, we are a cricket podcast. We used to be called Vaguely Familiar. We used to be a wing of Vaguely Familiar, which is a podcast of its own. And before that, we were called Broadcast Podcast, and before that, we were called The Final Over.
Oh, yeah.
This will be our final destination of what the podcast is going to look like. This is going to be a cricket-centric podcast, but more specifically centric to Pakistan cricket.
100%.
So we welcome everybody here, everybody who is joining us from Vaguely Familiar, and all of the new listeners, which we hope to aspire to attract. So
100%.
thoughts?
Yeah, I'm very excited, man. This has been a long time coming. This is probably the evolution that the podcast needed. I remember when we first started, way back when, 2018, in a library in Pickering.
November 27th, 2018 was the first episode of The Final Over, which is the then podcast.
Yeah, and we used to shoot it in a space back at the Pickering Library. Like, shout out to the Pickering Library. And that's where it all started. And we knew that we wanted to talk about cricket, and then we expanded it to talking about movies and shows and concerts and whatnot. And then we had great guests in our Vaguely Familiar network. We got Carl Mayer, we had Ali Abdal, Irfan Janejo, Matt Whitecross,
Mazhar Arshad for the cricket.
Yeah, exactly.
Abraj Khan was here.
Abraj Khan was here. Hint, hint, wink, wink. It was a great run under that wing, but I'm very glad to. I'm very, very glad that the cricket podcast is going to be its own wing. It's going to be its own place. Like, people who want to hear us talk about cricket can come here and specifically hear us talk about cricket without getting muddled into the vagaries of it all.
Yeah. So, I mean, I like that you mentioned that people are going to be listening to us, but my question is, if I were a listener, like, why should I listen to you? Like, who are you and why should I be tuning in to this podcast and not the other ones that are out there?
If go to the streets of Johor, overseas
Gulistan of
Bangalows,
Johor, Karachi.
Johor, Karachi, overseas Bangalows.
Yeah.
Ask them.
The streets know.
The streets know. Ask them where the Huda brothers live. L15. Shout out L15. They know, bro. Double road cricket, double wicket cricket, H Park cricket, ground cricket, school level cricket. We played it all.
We've been there.
Right? We've played hardball. We've played tape ball. We've played
one
tennis
tip
ball, one tip cricket.
In our puppy's basement.
We've played in balconies, on rooftops. We've played in the rain.
Any place where you can fit a ball and a batsman and a bowler, we've played there.
Yeah. So our expertise is not as professional as it might be for, like, let's say, when Wasim Akram was talking about cricket. But hey, we know the streets. You know what? And we can talk about cricket because we've seen enough cricket live in action, and we've played enough cricket on school levels and district levels here in Toronto to understand where we're coming from.
Yeah.
Plus, we're passionate about the game, and we have a mic in front of us, and nobody can stop us. So why not?
Absolutely. I think so. My earliest memory of cricket is when we used to live in California, and our dad took us to watch the India versus Pakistan match at home. We bought some pay-per-view thing,
and not in the stadium.
Yes, and I remember that Sachin played a shot. Wasim Akram was bowling. Abdul Razak dropped a catch. It was a difficult one on mid-off.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw Shoaib Akhtar running in ball, and he was at his peak in terms of speed, accuracy, and whatnot. And I was like, okay, that's what I want to do. I want to play cricket. I want to watch cricket, and I want to be like Shoaib Akhtar. So I'm about 40 kilometers lower than him. But the passion for cricket was like, the roots were from there. So we didn't even grow up in Pakistan initially.
Yeah.
But once we moved back to Pakistan, I remember talking to my dad, like, the one reason why we went to Pakistan was because he would put us into an academy. And we used to go to the PIA Cricket Academy every Saturday, 8 a.m. We would walk there. It was like a 2-3 kilometer walk.
Yeah.
And we would like train. That's where our basics came from, like the basic grip for batting, how to not bend your arm while bowling, how to take a catch, warming up, things like that. So that's where it all started. And then we went to play street cricket in Karachi, in our gully. We had our own little team.
Yeah.
We would like face the kids from other blocks. And then eventually, I think when I was 11, we took up playing hardball cricket.
Yeah, that changed everything.
That changed everything, because when you're playing tape ball and like not just does it change your perspective of playing the game, but also watching it.
Mm.
Like you think cricket is a very easy sport, but until you play it, until you play hardball cricket at a decent level, you won't understand the the complexions of watching on TV.
100%. And I feel like we have enough real world cricket experience behind us. Even in the summers, we still play leagues here in Toronto. We have enough of that behind us to make an educated assumption or an educated opinion, have an educated opinion, I should say, of the game. And I just want to say, like, a lot of these pundits who sit on TV have played way more cricket than us, but don't have the passion that we do for Pakistan cricket, especially, and for cricket in general.
I think they also have their own agenda. Like they want to be like, someone wants to be anti-Babar, someone just wants to praise India because they want to get the views. But I don't think that's our goal here. We just want to be honest, frank, and if I'm being honest and frank, this podcast was just, you were the brainchild. Like, this is your brainchild. You were the founder of the podcast.
This is where we do a split screen.
Even though I produce this podcast, this is all your idea. Like, we used to just watch cricket in our drawing rooms, and I would just be commentating or analyzing on the game, and you're like, okay, this is good. We should probably record this.
Yeah, because it used to be like, we used to watch a game, and then after the game, we'd be at dinner and we'd be talking about it, and we'd have like these heated debates, right, over like Gorma and whatnot, and just like have proper conversations about the game. And you would have like the intentional insights of what's going on, why this didn't work, why that didn't work, and I would just be like, bro, that's so dumb. And just the going back and forth of that, I was like, this is a great show. Like, and everybody who would be around us would be thoroughly entertained because we would have the expertise to go back and forth about it. And I was just like, this would be very stupid if we don't put this in front of a screen. And that's how the final over came about. And then we wanted to expand, which was successful. And then now we finally have this niche with Vaguely Familiar that we now know that, okay, now Backward Point should be its own thing. It deserves its own chance to succeed out in the world. And I'm just glad that we made it full circle, that the loop is closed.
I think it's been just over 1 year since we rebranded our previous podcast for it to be called Vaguely Familiar. And so now, after 1 year, we're here now with this Backward Point being a podcast of its own. So I think it does definitely show a lot of progress. And with respect to what people can expect from us from this podcast going forward, what are some of the things that they want to look forward to, and what they can hope to see when they tune into our podcast?
Man, I'm very excited about just because now we have our cricket space has its own home. I'm very excited about the opportunities that we have, like live streaming. I remember when we live streamed the Pakistan-India game that Pakistan won 152-0. I have that memory etched into the algorithms of YouTube forever, right? We can go back and watch that forever. 152-0. That is something that will never be taken away from us. And I'm so glad we did that, because last minute, even till like the last few minutes, we were like, man, maybe we should ditch the whole thing. Maybe, it's going to be too much work. I don't know if we have enough time. But going back to that, that's what I want to continue to do.
Also, the what if, right? That specific game, like, Pakistan had never beaten India ever in a World Cup in history.
Yeah.
And so we were like, do we want to really record ourselves being smashed by India?
Yeah.
But it happened to be one of the best experiences that we've ever had, and we had that recorded.
But at the same time, like, that's what the job entails. Like, it won't always be like that. And I realized that because there were other games that we were almost going to get almost set to record, and we didn't.
Yeah.
Most famously, the Pakistan-India game that just happened into the World Cup, where Kohli smashed us out of that game.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a great game to live stream just because of the ups and downs of it, and our reactions would have been priceless.
Lots of bleepers.
But that's what I'm most excited about, is the live streaming of it all, because then that way you connect with the fans like one-on-one. I'm excited about some of the think pieces we have.
Yes.
That we've been working on behind the scenes. That we have a whole what if series, which I think we can talk about it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
We have a whole what if series where we talk about if one thing had not happened a certain way, how would that have impacted all of cricket?
Yeah.
Right. Let's say,
like, what if Amr and Asif never got banned? What if this whole spot fixing scandal never happened? How would that have changed the trajectory, the history of Pakistan cricket and world cricket as a whole? So things like that, like we have those ideas.
Yeah, stuff like that is what I'm most excited about because that opens up a whole door of like you can be as fictionalized as possible. Like the opportunities are endless, right? I also think about like what happens if Imran Khan in 1987 retires and just doesn't come back.
Yeah.
Like, what do we get? The 92 team? Do we get these stars? Like, it would be a great way to like just digest cricket in the sense,
of course.
right?
And also just the basics, right? Just the series previews, the series roundups.
Get the daily news, but I'm more excited about the think pieces. I think
Of course,
that's gonna be really fun.
that's also what I'm excited about. And also, I want to do reviews of cricket autobiographies. I want to review cricket documentaries. For example, the Ben Stokes one that just came out. I just read Sultan by Wasim Akram, so we want to do
it's
a
on my
whole
TBR
episode on
still.
that. And so that's sort of the idea, and also just hot takes, controversial opinions that we both have a lot to say about.
Yeah, because we don't have a media backing, or we're not supported by any media house. We can say whatever the frick we want.
Yes.
Right. So at this point, like, expect a lot of that because there's a lot of opinions we have that are not popular. Some of them are, like, some of them are fine, but a lot of them are not, and we would love to like share them with you and get the feedback on that.
Yeah, and I think above all, like the whole point of this podcast, I guess, is to make a form of community of
Yes.
like-minded cricket passionate lovers, and just stick around, discuss,
And take down Cricinfo
take down cricket.
because I'm done with ESPN Cricinfo, guys. Like the monopoly is too much. It's BCCI, ICC, and then it's Cricinfo. Like there's no way out of it. I'm here to create a community. The podcasts that I look up to are like The Great Cricketer, We Cricket. Those are
Tailenders by Jimmy
Tailenders
Anderson.
by Jimmy Anderson. Yeah, who by the way is an aspirational guest on the podcast. Jimmy, if you ever want to be on the podcast, we'll fly to you. We don't have any issues with that. But that was an aside. Yeah, those are the people that we're looking up to and who we want to talk about. Also, in the social media space, there's a lot of cricket content now. Like a lot of my TikTok For You page is like filled with cricket stuff, and it's new stuff. It's not just old clips.
We're part of that as well. Like I go to the Friday prayers at the mosque, and people are like, "Yo, I think I saw you in my For You page,"
Did they really?
and I'm like, "This is it. I've peaked here. This is my celebrity moment."
When you go to Jummah and you can't pray because of the fans, that's when you know.
Exactly.
That's when you know you made it. You see me, like, I'm ready for test match
You
right
look like
now.
a test match cricketer.
I'm ready for test cricket right now, bro. Like, I'm ready for Bangladesh to beat India. I'm ready for Pakistan to beat New Zealand.
We gotta
here.
put the PCB logo on your shirt.
Yeah, I'm wearing.
the
There's a line of old like navy blue here.
Yeah.
So I think I'm more baseball than I am
I
ball.
just bought some merch from the PCB store, and I wish their cable net sweater.
Oh
was
yeah,
mine.
yeah.
But I
We
guess-
are on our way to Pakistan very soon. So a lot of merch dropping there. We're gonna do some Pakistan cricket shopping, so you're gonna see a lot of stuff around us to change in the upcoming weeks.
Closing thoughts.
Yeah, closing thoughts. This was a good opener, good teaser. I think a lot of people would have questions about the Vaguely Familiar itself. It's not going anywhere. Vaguely Familiar as a brand still remains. My hope and my wish and my aspirations for Vaguely Familiar was always to make sure that Vaguely Familiar turns into a podcast network like The Ringer. The Ringer is one of my favorite podcast networks because the podcasts they produce are just amazing, and it goes all the way from like Mr. Simmons, I'm forgetting his first name right now, all the way down the list. And that's what I wanted Vaguely Familiar to be. I wanted VF to be the brand name that produces these podcasts. So Backward Point is going to be a Vaguely Familiar production. Vaguely Familiar will have its own podcast, which will have the interview section of it will remain on in the page that you see it as. And that won't change. Some other changes coming. Some things are moving to Patreon. I decided that we should have the movies and the album reviews should go on Patreon, because if you guys are fans of us, you want to support us, and you want to get some additional content, that's the way. I also have plans for BTS stuff, which I'm very excited about.
This is not the band.
Not the band, not the band. They've disbanded, by the way. They're on hiatus. But like just maybe a studio tour, how we run stuff here, day in the life of us shooting a podcast, because we do shoot multiple together. stuff like that. So very exciting times ahead, both cricket wise and otherwise. And finally, we're open to sponsorships. If anybody wants to sponsor us, definitely hit us up. We're ready to go about that. And just excited for the future, man. 2023, the Jordan year feels like our year, man.
Jordan year.
Hey,
And if it doesn't go your way, you always have the Kobe year coming up.
rest in peace, the king. Yes, but we do. Yeah, 22, 24. I have very high hopes for it, bro. We've been at it for about 3 to 4 years, 2 years consistently, and man,
I loved our last World Cup coverage.
oh, I love that.
That was
The
amazing.
commitment we had. Like,
Not-
look at us patting ourselves on the
Not
back.
just the commitment, but it's also like the amazing journey that Pakistan had over the course of the World Cup, and the fact that we got to cover that. Like sometimes I do go back and watch not just that whole era, but when we first started. Like we didn't even have video when we first started.
Yeah.
So-
So this wasn't an Urdu podcast, by the
Yeah,
way.
in a way,
Crazy.
this is also like a way of documenting yourself over the course of the year. So we have about 4 years of documentation,
Roughly.
and yeah, we're just gonna keep going, and we hope that you stick around, and keep watching, listening, and supporting us.
Yeah. We're eyeing the 2024 World Cup. That's something that's happening in the US and West Indies. We're very close. It's our continent. Yeah, just keep an eye out on us. We're gonna be huge in a couple of years. Just letting you know that right now.
Okay, well, I think that on that note, we are gonna sign off, and we will see you on the other side for the next episodes.
Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell your friends about it. Let's build this community right now.
Let's go.
Cheers.